welcome po sa press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. We have a special guest this morning. Siya po si Agrarian Secretary Rafael K. Paeng Mariano. Prior to his entry in the executive government, K. Paeng served as an Akpawis representative in the House of Representatives, where he pressed for the passage of the Genuine Agrarian Reform Bill. He was the chairman of the Bagong Alyansang Makabayan and chairman for the Kilusang Magbubukid ng Pilipinas. Following his appointment in President Duterte's cabinet, Secretary Mariano said his goal is to protect the welfare of farmers. To ensure protection of farmers, Sec. Mariano said he will vie for a new agrarian reform law to ensure farmers won't be forced out of their lands. Kagabi po, there had been a lot of questions whether we had a cabinet meeting yesterday. But actually, it was not a cabinet meeting. It was a Presidential Agrarian Reform Council meeting. It included a the cabinet. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to invite you to welcome one of the survivors of the 1987 Mendiola massacre, Department Secretary Rafael K. Paeng Mariano.
Maraming salamat, Secretary Ernabella, at magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, sa ating mga kaibigan sa media. Ulitin ko po ang lubos na pasasalamat kay President Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa pagkahirang sa akin bilang bagong kalihim ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Sa unang araw po ng aking panunungkulan, noong 1 ng Hulyo taong 2016, makaraan po ang matagumpay na turnover ceremony na aming pinangunahan ng dating DAR Secretary Hildo Los Reyes. Noong pong hapon ay aking pong ipinag-utos na buksan ang dalawang main gates ng Department of Agrarian Reform na, kundi po ako nagkakamali, ay mga 18 taon nang nakasara at nakakadena. At doon din po sa araw na yon, aking pong muling idineklara na ang patakaran po ng departamento sa ilalim po ng pagiging kalihim ni K. Paeng Mariano ay yung continuing open dialogue and consultation sa lahat po ng stakeholders natin sa agrarian reform, lalong-lalo na po sa ating mga magkasaka. At amin pong binalangkas ang 5 puntong trust and policy directions ng DAR. Una po ay ang protect farmers and ensure their security of tenure. Pangalawa po ay promote farmers' rights and welfare. Pangatlo po ay ang contribute to rural development. Pang-apat po ay help ensure food security. At pang-5 po ay strengthening DAR community. At may mga agaran po akong ipinag-utos na direktiba sa mga pinuno po ng departamento. Una po dyan ay yung mabilisang pagkasagawa ng validation at inventaryo sa lahat po ng lupa na naipamahagi na sa mga agrarian reform beneficiaries. Sa ngayon po, ang datos po ng DAR, kung ang pag-uusapan po ay ang accomplishment report nito sa pamamahagi ng lupa from 1972 to June, katapusan po ng June 2016 ay meron pong mahigit sa 4.7 million hectares of lands na naipamahagi na sa mahigit 2.7 milyong agrarian reform beneficiaries po natin ng agrarian reform program. Mahalaga pong maisagawa ang field validation at inventaryo para po lubos nating matiyak na yung pong mga lupa na naipamahagi sa ating mga beneficiaryo ay nasa possession pa ng ating mga magkasaka, o yung pong magkasaka natin beneficiaryo ay nandun pa sa lupa na nai-award o distributed sa kanila. Lalo na po yung mga unang taon ng pagpapatupad ng Presidential Decree number 27 o ang Marcos Land Reform at yung mga unang taon mga unang taon po ng pagpapatupad ng Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988, yung pong CARP Law as amended by Republic Act 9700. Isa pa po ay aking ipinag-utos din ang madali ang pag-imbentaryo at pagripaso ng mga conversion orders po na inisyu ng DAR. Kasi po ang karaniwan pong kondisyon sa bawat order na ini-issue ng DAR sa mga applications for land use conversion ay kinakailangan pong ang applicant ipatupad niya within 5 years yung pong at makumpleto po yung implementation ng development plan, no, sa nalolooban ng 5 taon para po mapag-alaman natin kung may mga conversion orders na na-issue ang DAR sa mga nakaraan na ang edad ay mahigit ng 5 taon pero wala namang development o hindi naman po lubusang naipatupad yung development plan. Yung po kasi ay kung lampas 5 taon ay hindi po na-develop into, sabihin natin, for industrial, residential o commercial uses. Yung po ay po pwede po maging basihan ng pag-revoke o pag-recall ng conversion orders na inisyu ng DAR. Ganon din po yung aking pinag-utos na gawin ang mabilisang pagripaso po sa mga agricultural leasehold contracts. Meron pong datos na meron tayong 1.2 million agricultural lessees, mga magkasakang namumisan sa kanilang lupang sinasaka. Ang datos po natin ay may 1.7 million hectares under the agricultural leasehold system. Kasi po ang DAR ang may exclusive authority to determine and fix lease rentals. Para po malaman natin kung may mga magkasaka na tayo na namumisa na gusto na nilang magkaroon ng renegotiation, no, sa kanilang kontrata, kung gusto nilang mapababa yung kanilang buwis sa lupa, o kung may mga magkasaka ba na ginamit ng mga landowners yung di nila pagbabayad ng lease rentals bilang ground ng kanilang ejectment o kaya ng termination ng lease contract. Ganon din po atin pong pinag-utos ang pagripaso ng mga existing kontrata kung saan umiiral yung mga stock distribution option plan o agreement. Marami pa po niyan ay sa isla ng Negros. Ganon din po yung mga kontrata na sumasaklaw naman doon sa mga agribusiness venture arrangements. Sa ngayon po, ang datos po natin sa DAR, meron pong 433 contracts, no? Kontrata ng mga agribusiness venture arrangements at sumasaklaw sa mahigit 57,000 hektarya, no, sa ating bansa. Gusto po nating maripaso ito para matiyak natin na yung mga agrarian reform beneficiaries, mga farm worker beneficiaries sa mga lupang saklaw ng nasabing mga kontrata ay kinikilala yung kanilang karapatan, lalong-lalo na dun sa kanila pong karapatan sa lupa. Kasi po malinaw naman po ang tinatadhana ng Section 4 ng Article 13 ng ating 1987 Constitution that the state shall by law undertake an agrarian reform program founded on the right of farmers and regular farm workers who are landless to own directly and collectively the lands they till. At sa kaso po ng Siendo Licita, ilang beses pong binanggit ng Korte Suprema that the policy on agrarian reform is that control over the agricultural lands must always be in the hands of the farmers. Para po matiyak natin na yung ating mga magkasaka at manggagawang bukid na benepisyaryo ay masasabi nating may tuwirang kontrol sa lupang na ipamahagi sa kanila. So mga ilan po yan sa ating pong ipinag-utos na gawin ng ating mga opisyales at personnel ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Meron na rin po ako mga dinesisyon ng kaso. Halimbawa po yung dating pending protest ng Tarlac Development Corporation doon sa may 358 hectares na sinasabing pag-aari ng Tarlac Development Corporation. Dinatnan ko po yung pending protest na yon doon po sa inisyong notice of coverage ng DAR by publication noong December 2013. Covering po yung nabanggit na 358 hectares. So ay kailangan na pong desisyonan yon. So sa desisyon ko pong nilabas ay lalong napatunayan na yung pong 358 hectares ay agricultural land kahit pa prior dun sa June 15, 1988, the effectivity date ng Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988 of the CARP Law. At kahit po nung mag-file po sila ng protest ng January 2014 at kahit pa before yung sinasabi nila ng June 2014 ay agricultural yung lupa at nakakuha lang po sila ng sinasabing dokumento na nagpapatutuong na reclassify ng nasabing lupain June of 2014. So talaga pong masasabi nating agricultural yung lupa kahit pa nung panahong mag-issue ng Notice of Coverage by Publication ang Department of Agrarian Reform. So dininay ko po yung protest ng Tarlac Development Corporation. Ang isa pa pong aking dinesisyonan ay yung petition for exemption sa may 159 hectares naman. Ang petitioner po dito ay ang Provincial Government of Negros Occidental through Governor Alfredo Marañon. Doon po sa desisyon na yon, sinabi ko na kung yung po kasing desisyon ay doon sa petition for exemption, na desisyon na po yon ng dating Secretary Gil de los Reyes. Naghain lang po ng motion for the reconsideration ang Provincial Government of Negros Occidental through Governor Marañon. At yun po yung dinesisyonan ko. In-affirm po yung desisyon ni dating Secretary Gil de los Reyes na ang esensya naman po doon ay wala pong basihan yung petition for exclusion and exemption ng nasabing lupain at nananatiling agricultural yung lupa at kailangan pong mapamahagi ito sa mga agrarian reform beneficiaries o potential agrarian reform beneficiaries. So kung tanong ay may remedy pa po ba ang provincial government, may remedy pa naman po. Nasa sa kanila po. Yung pong parties doon sa kaso na yon, pwede pong maghain po ng apila sa Office of the President na po. And then, akin pong inisyu na rin po yung order na kung saan magsisilbi pong guidelines governing po yung distribution ng may 10,000 hectares of land. Matagal na po itong turnover na po ng mga lupa ito ng Land Bank of the Philippines sa Department of Agrarian Reform. As per Republic Act 38444, yung Agricultural Land Reform Code. At yun po, makaraan pong mapublish yun po ay pwede na pong maging gabay o guidelines sa ating pong mga DAR officials and personnel para po masimulan yung distribution ng nasabing 10,000 hectares of land. Ganon din po, may ongoing consultation po na sinasagawa ang DAR with the DILG, with the HLURB, and with the Department of Agriculture. Kasi po, ang gusto po nating malaman dito ay yung ano na inabot po nung implementation ng Section 20 ng Local Government Code. Sa ilalim po ng nasabing section ng LGC of 1991, yung pong mga city or municipal council has the authority to reclassify agricultural lands to other classification. Gusto po nating malaman ilang ektarya yung nasaklaw ng mga reclassification ordinances, halimbawa. At ano na estado niyan? Baka naman hindi naman develop into non-agricultural uses at nananatiling idle o tiwangwang, baka pwedeng ibalik sa klasipikasyong agricultural at i-devote po natin sa food production. Di po ba? Ang programa po naman ng Duterte administration ngayon makamit natin ang food self-sufficiency. No, ano po. And then panghuli po marahil ay ito po ay matuturing nating napakahalagang pagpupulong po yung naganap po kagabi na pinangunahan po ng ating Presidente, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte bilang chairperson ng Presidential Agrarian Reform Council ay nakumbin po at na-meeting po kahapon ito. Kahapon po ng hapon. Alam po ninyo, ang huling meeting po ng PARC ay noong pong May 3, 2006. Hindi po unabis pinulong ni former President Noynoy Aquino itong PARC, lalo na po nang magdesisyon na ang Korte Suprema sa kaso ng Hacienda Luisita. Opo. So kaya po 10 taon po hindi po na meeting, hindi na convene at kami po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa ating Pangulo dahil sa nilolooban ng kanya 100 araw ng administrasyon ay napulong po kahapon ang Presidential Agrarian Reform Council na matagal nang nakapark itong Presidential Agrarian Reform Council. Ang PARC po kasi ang the highest policy making and coordinating body, no? Pag ang pag-uusapan natin ay implementation ng Agrarian Reform Program and laws, particular po yung Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988 sa ilalim ng RA 6657 as amended by Republic Act 9700. At kahapon po ay nabanggit ko na pinangunahan po ng Pangulo ang meeting pulong ng Presidential Agrarian Reform Council at ako po naman bilang DAR Secretary ang tumatayong Vice Chairperson at nagkaroon po ng pagpapakilala lang at paglalahad ng legal basis ng PARC at ano po ang istruktura nito at yun nga po akin pong ipinisenta sa harap ng mga miyembro ng PARC, lalong-lalo na po sa harap mismo ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, yung 5 puntong trust and policy directions ng Department of Agrarian Reform na nabanggit ko na po kanina. Meron din po namang mga mahahalagang naging kapasyahan po ang PARC po kahapon. Malinaw po doon that the President fully supports the Agrarian Reform Program and wants that during his administration, land will be distributed directly to the qualified farmer beneficiaries. Ano po? And the President wants DAR to take the lead in addressing issues in agrarian reform and wants PARC to be more responsive to the issues by imposing timelines. Kaya nga po, agaran po ay isasagawa po ng DAR yung mabilisan po nating pagtugon bilang compliance po sa mga naging desisyon po ng PARC sa meeting nito kahapon at mismo po sa mga direktiba mismo ng Presidente. At nabanggit din po kahapon muli ng Presidente yung polisiya sa libreng serbisyo sa irigasyon, pagbabalik po ng pondo ng Coco Levy sa ating mga magkasaka o mga magninyog. And the President kahapon po instructed Land Bank to provide more assistance to ARBs, Agrarian Reform Beneficiaries. At sabi nga po niya, dapat daw po ang Land Bank ay nagpapunction as the bank for the ARBs and less of a commercial bank. At ganun din po, isa sa mahalagang naging resolusyon po ng PARC ay at bilang policy directive po para sa DAR bilang main implementing agency po natin ng pagpapatupad ng Agrarian Reform Program ay ipamahagi po yung balanse pa, yung land acquisition and distribution balance po na umaabot po sa mahigit po yung 621,000 hectares pa po yung land balance. At kung idadagdag po natin yung mga lupang hindi pa po na-issuehan ng notice of coverage, covered na mga petition for or request for coverage pero hindi pa po na-i-issuehan ng notice of coverage, aabot po ng halos 800,000 hectares. Pag dinagdag po natin yung mahigit pang mga 184 hectares of land. Madadagdagan pa po yan kung yung pong mga agricultural lands ng mga government-owned and controlled corporations, state colleges and universities, government financial institutions, at iba pang inaatasan pong i-turn over yung mga agricultural lands na nasa kanilang possession o pag-aari as per Executive Order 407 as amended by EO 448. At kahapon din po ay inadapt o sinang-ayunan po ng PARC yung pag-i-impose muna po ng 2 taong moratorium on conversion of agricultural lands. At ang meron po kaming inihanda na sinimulan pong i-draft na executive order na ito po ay siyempre po ay magdadaan pa po sa pag-aaral, pagripaso at pagpapatibay po mismo ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte ng ating presidente. At ganon din po ay ito po yung mahahalaga pong dinesisyonan pa kahapon ng PARC. Yung pong PARC revoked the 1992 PARC resolution at ito po yung nullification din ng stock distribution option of Woodridge Hermanos. Ito po ay mga 174 hectares na mahigit at ito ay sa Calatrava, Negros Occidental. Ganon din po, ni-revoke din po yung ng PARC meeting kahapon, ng PARC po kahapon, yung 1993 PARC resolution at nullified po niya yung SDO ng SVJ Farms, isa pong sugar plantation. Ito po sa Negros Occidental din, sa Talisay City, na sumasaklaw naman sa 170.65 hectares. Ganon din po kahapon, ni-revoke din po ng PARC sa kanyang meeting kahapon yung 2002 PARC resolution at ninulify din po yung agribusiness venture agreement, LIS-ABA, between Agrarian Reform Beneficiaries and Marshman Estate Plantation ng MEPI, kung kaya't yung pong almost 800 hectares of banana plantation is available for the 762 ARBs under the Agrarian Reform Program, where the ARBs shall get their CLOA and possess their awarded land. So yun po yung mga mahalagang naging kapasyahan po ng pulong po kahapon ng Presidential Agrarian Reform Council na pinangunahan po bilang chairperson po ng ating Presidente, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So for now, yun lamang po ang aking pong maibabahagi at maiuulat po sa ating sa mamamayang Pilipino sa pamagitan po ng panayam na ito kay Secretary Rafael Capaing Mariano ng Department of Agrarian Reform. Maraming salamat po at mapagpalayang araw po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Secretary Mariano. May question na MPC Dexter Ganibe.
Dexter.
Sir, good morning. Clarification lang dun sa pag-i-impose ng two-year moratorium sa conversion ng agricultural land. Kailan po ito in-expect na magsimula? Ibig bang sabihin ng conversion ng agricultural land, ito yung mga agricultural land na hindi pwedeng gawing subdivision, hindi gawing commercial lands? Tama po ba ako sa
ito pong magdidepende po kung kailan po madalagdaan ni Presidente itong executive order na ito na amin pong hiniling kahapon at ipinisinta po sa Presidential Agrarian Reform Council.
So ibig sabihin na
ito po yung declaring a moratorium on the processing and approval of all applications for land use conversion of agricultural lands to non-agricultural uses. At yung nga pong saklaw ay na period ay hinihiling po nitong aming panukala na 2 taon. Ang applicability po nito, yung the moratorium shall cover and apply only to the following, no? All awarded lands under Republic Act number 6657 as amended, and then lupang sakla Presidential Decree o PD number 27 and other agrarian reform laws, no? Gayon din po kasama dito yung mga agricultural lands with notices of coverage issued by DIDAR. Yun na issue na po ng mga notice of coverage. And then 4.3 irrigated and irrigable lands. 4.4 prime agricultural lands. Kasi po there's an existing merong umiiral pong state policy to preserve prime agricultural lands to ensure food security. Ano po? Then 4.5 yung mga retention areas of the landowners which are tenanted. Kasi po dahil sa ating pong mga programa sa reforma agraryo, agrarian reform laws, meron pong right na magpanatili yung mga may-ari ng lupa na 5 hectares po yung mga magsasaka doon ay ang katayuan po nila, ang tenancy relation nila ay sila ay namumwisan, no? And then yung 4.6, yung agricultural lands with presence of agricultural activities or being cultivated by the farmers individually or collectively.
Last na lang, sir. ilang hektarya po itong pinag-uusapan natin? And the areas na covered niya?
Kasi po yung ito pong ibig pong sabihin, itong mga karaniwan po niyan, yung irrigated rice lands, prime agricultural lands, retention area. Itong retention area nasa ilalim na po ng leasehold yan, no? Kasama na doon sa 1.2 million. Ang agaran po natin punoprotektahan dito yung 4.7 million na agricultural lands na distributed, awarded to our more than 2.7 million agrarian reform beneficiaries. So, kaya din po mapag-alaman natin yung mga, alam po ninyo, bawal po yung tinatawag na illegal and premature conversion. Basta po walang nai-issue conversion order, yung DAR, na siya pong may exclusive authority na mag-issue nito, mag-approve o disapprove ng mga applications for land use conversion, lalo pa po ay lampas ng June 15, 1988, yun po ay may kaso po ng illegal and premature conversion, yung sino mang magsasagawa ng anumang earth moving operation nang walang kaukulang order na conversion order mula sa Department of Agrarian Reform, no? Para malaman din po natin yung mga violations, at meron pong may kaukulan po yun na criminal liability. So dito po sa panukalang executive order, sa draft executive order, magki-create po ng task force na kaagad ay mag-a-assess po ng status ng land use conversion sa ating bansa, at ang DAR po ay may call upon the support of other CARP implementing agencies po. And then yun po, kung ito po ay mapagtitibay at malalagdaan na ng Pangulo, ang agaran po namang mamandahan dito sa draft executive order, ang DAR, na maglalabas po siya, magpo-promulgate po siya ng rules and regulations para po sa implementasyon na nasabing kautusan. Sa panahon po ito'y mapagtibay at malagdaan po ng ating Presidente, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte po.
Thank you. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Secretary Mariano.
Maraming salamat po muli, at magandang araw po at mapagpalayang araw sa ating lahat.
May isa pang tanong.
Magandang hapon po, Secretary. Sir, brief lang. Yung may balak ba kayong ipa-review o hintayin pa yung executive order, yung mga naglalakihang mga bagong mga subdivision ngayon sa mga agrikulturang sakahan na ngayon ay ginagawa ng mga bilyonaryong mga may-aring lupa ngayon?
Yun nga po, bahagi po ng ating ipinag-utos na pag-imbentaryo ay yung pagripaso po, no? Doon po sa mga orders, decisions din na inisyu po ng DAR. Katunayan po, akin pong ipinag-utos yung creation ng Policy Review and Formulation Committee. Ang ginagawa po nito ngayon ay inaaral po, niriripaso, nagkasagawa ng pag-aaral doon sa mga existing administrative orders or other issuances na inisyu po ng DAR. Halimbawa po nito yung pinakahuling administrative order may patungkol po sa mga kontrata ng agribusiness venture arrangements. Kasi po doon sa AO na yon, ang nagiging papel lang po ng DAR doon ay base pa, optional pa doon sa mga partido sa kontrata kung iimbitahan o i-request nila na maging observer ang DAR sa negotiation. At yung pong andar, ang papel lang ay to issue notice to proceed sa negotiation. Alam po ninyo sa agricultural leasehold system natin, andar nga ay may authority to determine and fix lease rentals. Dito po gusto po natin na mas malaki yung puder ng DAR para nga po matiyak yung karapatan ng ating mga agrarian reform beneficiaries na pumapasok po sa mga katulad na kontrata o agribusiness venture arrangement. Opo. Maraming salamat po. Magandang umaga po sa inyo muli.
Thank you, Secretary. Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, Secretary Mariano. First question will come from Ina Andolong, CNN Philippines. Microphone, please.
Question to whom?
Yeah. I am sorry. May statement muna si Secretary Abella.
Excited ka naman eh.
No, sir, tinawag ko kasi.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. We'll just cover 2 points for today. The first one has to do about the supposed green light that the president gave to President Widodo. Let me just cite 6 points. Even before the visit to Indonesia, the execution of Mary Jane Veloso had already been indefinitely deferred. Next, Indonesia had previously agreed to allow Ms. Veloso to testify through deposition at the criminal prosecution of her illegal recruiters in the Philippines. 3. Therefore, there was no need to make a plea for clemency as there was no scheduled execution. 4. What PRRD and President Widodo talked about, that number 1, he respects the judicial processes of Indonesia, that he will accept whatever final decisions they will have on Veloso. This is assuming already that Veloso would have testified. And these statements were interpreted as a go signal or green light by the foreign press. Even when the Indonesian Supreme Court decides to act on the execution, let me repeat, even when the Indonesian Supreme Court decides to act on the execution, that would be the time to present the compelling evidence of Veloso's innocence as a justification for a plea of clemency. 6. In other words, as in all things, worthwhile matters are achieved by going through the process. You're not Veloso, okay?
Yes, question, follow-up about Veloso. Dexter Ganibe.
May isa pa.
Okay, later.
Regarding the questions about whether American troops were being asked to leave Mindanao, this was in context with what President Duterte shared yesterday. Basically, what he was sharing was a backgrounder on his new chartered course of an independent foreign policy that he was simply presenting the context of why there was conflict in Mindanao with the Muslims, simply because the Muslims had this long historical and cultural wound which has been left unaddressed and unatoned for and unrepented for, but they have held in their collective memory, in which they see the Americans as perpetrators of a wrong that has not been redressed, and the Philippines having ties with the Americans are therefore also suspect in their intentions regarding peace in Mindanao. And this is the context of that statement, that the real reason why there is conflict in Mindanao is because the Muslims do not trust lowland Filipinos and lowland Christians because of their implicit connection with the Americans, who have not decided in any way at all, as far as their perception is, to redress, to address, or atone for the past wrongs. End of statements. Thank you.
First question will come from Dexter Ganibe.
On Veloso case,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, I learned ang Nueva Ecija RTC ay merong move na magkaroon ng hearing doon kung saan nakapiit si Veloso para doon sa personal na testimony sa kanyang kaso laban sa kanyang mga recruiters. May update ba tayo kung ano na ang naging tugon ng Indonesia? Kung
Hindi
meron
ko po
na tayong
alam,
communications?
but that was the process supposed to be, that she would testify through deposition.
Through deposition.
Through deposition, yes.
On Veloso, Raymond Tenasa.
Sir, doon lang tayo sa konteksto. Sir, that conversation happened in a bilateral...
Which conversation?
Between the President and Jokowi.
Yes.
That happened on a bilateral meeting.
This was after the ASEAN
Yeah.
meetings.
So
yes.
only President Jokowi heard what the President said to him on the respect to the judicial process in Indonesia.
Yes.
and the source of the Jakarta Post is with Jokowi.
And your question?
So who could have misinterpreted the president's words?
I'm not saying that this is their misinterpretation, but this is how they translated into English what President Widodo answered in Bahasa.
But sir, have we checked officially to President Jokowi if what he really meant to that? Baka naman si President Jokowi...
I already gave you the context, okay? I think it's very clear that they were talking about, not about the execution, but about the judicial process. In other words, what the President Duterte was saying, he was saying he would accede, he would accept whatever final decisions they would have in regard to the judicial process that they would take. He was not giving a green light on execution.
So, klaro tayo doon, yung sa posisyon ng Pangulo.
Okay.
Pero ang nakirinig lang kasi sa pahayag na yun ay si
Wala
Jokowi.
na po tayo ron.
Kaya hindi pa kaya posible na si Jokowi ang namali yung pagkasabi naman niya sa press.
That is conjecture. That's not my field. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Morong, to be followed by JP on Velosa.
Sir, is it clear now that President Joko Widodo misinterpreted the president?
I'm not saying that at all. We're not saying that there's no implication at all regarding that matter, except that we're just giving you the context as far as we can say it. As far as this has been related.
Okay, it seems now, sir, that ang statement ni Presidente is that we will allow Indonesia to proceed with their process.
No, we're simply saying the context is that there is already a process that has to be set in motion.
Correct.
As in Dexter's term, that there will be a trial and all that. Assuming that, then President Duterte said, yes, we will follow through with your decisions. Assuming everything. Assuming that the trial proceeds, Veloso testifies, she is found innocent, in which case the Supreme Court would make their decisions, which would still be to execute, and then because that is where decision is, and then they would make a plea for clemency. Malinaw yan?
Yes, sir.
Yun po yun. In other words, ano po siya? That is a very clear process. That is a very clear process. And ang mahalaga lang na mapatuloy din yung what do you call it? The judicial process.
Kaya nga, sir. So, ibig sabihin, at this point, let Indonesia do its job, correct? In terms of the judicial process?
No, in which case, ituloy na natin yung kay
yung kay role ni MJ dito sa local case yan, sir, di ba? Kasi she's been sentenced.
Yes. In Indonesia, she's already sentenced. But if it can be clearly seen that she's innocent, then that could be the ground for a plea for clemency.
Okay, so assuming, sir, that yung illegal recruiters na have been declared guilty here, now we can move to ask for clemency, correct?
Yes.
That's the procedure.
Yes.
Do we know now, sir, if, kasi yesterday parang wala pa, do we know now if the president maybe in a little way asked for or brought up the issue of clemency in his talks with
in past references, he made a what would be called a moderate plea, because you cannot impose.
Correct.
You can only, but there was no need to make a plea for clemency, because already the execution has been deferred indefinitely. So wala tayong hinihingi.
Yeah, but during the TAT, did he imply that kind of subject?
That I'm not privy to that conversation. Anything else, please?
On Velosa, JP.
Just last.
Okay.
Sir, schedule. Sabi ni Presidente, he wants to meet with the Velosas.
It probably is within his own.
Wala pa.
Hindi ko po alam.
Okay, sir.
JP, then Benji. Benji Liwanag.
Sir,
yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, so walang timeline, kasi judicial process eh. So, walang binibigay na timeline, although napag-usapan na nila to, talagang the Philippines o si Pangulong Duterte will abide kung ano man yung sa kanila. Basta yung tayo, ginigiit lang din natin yung judicial process. So, wala po silang napag-usapan na hanggang dito or something.
Hindi ko po alam yun.
Wala tayo.
Hindi po natin alam yun.
To those,
ang alam lang po natin, they agreed on what would be just and fair for all.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Other
Sure.
issue? Veloso pa. Veloso? Laila Salavera.
Sir, good morning.
Yes,
Since there
good
are
morning.
those who interpreted the conversation between the President and Widodo as a green light, whoever these are we going to send a new message to Indonesia just to make sure they won't schedule the execution?
No, I think they're very, very clear about the situation. They're very clear about the situation. The parties who conversed,
You're saying it's clear there won't be an execution scheduled anytime soon since the judicial process is ongoing in the Philippines.
Yes. And so, okay, we are assuming that, of course, now. I mean since this is a conversation between neighbors and brothers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Veloso, other issue na? Ina Andolong. Microphone, thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
dun sa sinabi po ni President Duterte about the U.S. troops
Okay.
that they should go, those in Mindanao, they
Right.
should go. When does the President want them to leave? And are we expecting a formal directive on this to be put on black and white to formalize that directive?
Okay. Basically, if he amplified on that, he added the gloss. He said basically he was also referring to the fact that in Mindanao, especially in the areas where in Muslim areas, in Moro areas, their lives are in danger. They would be kidnapped. They would be shot at, whatever it is. In other words, that was part of the reason why he said go. At that, it was for given that context. Yes, given that context. Given that context.
So when and how will this
No,
directive be?
it wasn't the directive so much as in I give you a timeline. It was simply an injunction, like a warning.
Sir, but what was the basis of the President in saying that mas lalong iinit pag nakita yung Amerikano yan, papatayin sila? Because U.S. soldiers have been there for a while, and do we have reports of U.S. soldiers actually being killed or kidnapped by terrorist groups there?
I don't have report on that, but I do not have report on U.S. soldiers being killed.
Okay, lastly, sir, the U.S. presence in Mindanao is
Yes.
part of their global fight against terrorism.
Yes.
If we tell them to leave, how will that affect our own campaign against terrorism, especially considering that the President has said that the ISIS threat may become more serious in the future?
All right. These were not directives to leave, okay? But this was a context on why we have a conflict. All right. And in other words, it's giving a broad historical landscape, historical, cultural landscape, which is giving us a perspective why there is such a conflict. It's not just a question of terrorism. It's not just a question of, in other words, he's uncovering. He's uncovering something that has not been addressed. It has not been addressed at all. And I suppose some clues should be taken from that. It needs to be addressed.
You mean the President is seeking an apology or acknowledgement of what happened before, yung sinasabi po niyang pagpatay ng mga Moro noon?
I don't know if he's seeking that now. But certainly he has also made mention that it is in other words, it is a lingering skeleton, which in a sense removes the moral ascendancy of those who are criticizing the Philippines regarding human rights killings, supposed to be human rights infractions. So in a sense, what he's saying is he's really this skeleton in the closet erodes at the moral ascendancy of anybody who has not sufficiently addressed their own faults.
Very last from me, just to clarify, sir. Is the President asking the U.S. troops to leave Mindanao or not? Or is he just, as you mentioned, telling them that they might not be safe there, that's why they should consider maybe leaving? Ano po ba talaga?
Okay. The conversation of the President is very layered. It can be interpreted at a number of layers, okay?
Exactly, sir. That's why we're sort of clarifying what he really
Right.
meant.
Okay. In other words, if you're asking it, say, but timeline does here, there is no such thing as that right now. Okay. There is no such thing as okay by August 15 or September 15 you're supposed to leave right now. But in other words, it's laying a what do you call it? Is laying laying a notice that really while you're here, it's there will be conflict. It's not safe for you.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Last three questions from Laila, Bombo, and Rod Joseph.
Yes.
What does the President's statement mean for the EDCA and Balikatan? Under the EDCA, an air base in Cagayan de Oro is one of the areas where U.S. troops have access.
Okay.
So how will that affect?
At this stage, those statements are not policy set in stone. Okay. That policy yet. But these are backgrounders for possible future action. Okay.
So in the meantime,
There's a difference, isn't there?
okay. In the meantime, the arrangements under EDCA and Balikatan exercises will continue.
Things are until such time as it is properly acted on. But in other words, there's no notice is being served. Okay.
This is being served for them to
Notice
prepare
being served
leaving.
that it's uncomfortable for them to be there.
Joseph?
stay at your own risk.
Yes.
Sir, how will this affect the assistance, the aid that the U.S. has been giving us? Are we also foregoing this if we're warning them that they might not be safe there?
You know, I think this is where the president is beginning to elaborating more and more on the fact that he's setting that the foreign policy that we have is an independent one and not dependent on one superior state or two, okay, from which we depend on. In other words, these actions, these references that he's making, are intended to communicate to one and all that we need to be ready to chart our own course and find our own alliances.
Okay. Joseph muna and then Bombo.
Or sir, still on the statement of the president. So claro, not policy.
Which one?
The statement yesterday that the forces have to go. That's not
It's
a
not a
policy
stated
shift.
policy. It's not a policy yet. No, it's not policy. In other words, nobody acted on it yet. But it is a what did they say? Notice.
No.
It serves as notice that really the reason why there's trouble here is because of that presence. Okay.
So we will not have a scenario that the U.S. forces, at least in Mindanao, will have to leave. Just to be sure, sir.
Not as if it was already a decision yet, but
Yes.
definitely the president has already painted the picture, and let's see how it unfolds.
Okay, guys. So, last question yan. Okay, ni Raymond.
That's enough.
Sir, so are we turning our backs on
We're
the
not
EDCA
turning
and the
back.
NDT?
We're not turning our back on anybody. We're just simply charting an independent course.
Is that independent from the Americans or independent from...
Less dependent on, perhaps.
Okay, last question, Raymond Tenasa.
Sir, but the president is our top diplomat, and whatever he says is automatically becomes the policy. So, sir, now, on that context, sir...
It is not automatically policy, but it is the basis of policy.
Okay. Sir, but you mentioned yesterday on your statement, there is no mention of the safety, security of the American troops, but it is on the basis of the unrecognized, unrepented, and unatoned for massacre in Buddha Jew. So meaning, the president was very clear, very firm, and very strong in what he wants that U.S. Troops should be out of Mindanao. Otherwise, the threat will continue. So now you are saying another thing, the American security?
I'm not saying another thing. It is simply a gloss that the president added. Okay? It was a gloss he added. We're not changing anything.
Sir, last, was the cabinet, considering this is a possible major move or possible major foreign policy decision, was the cabinet, the defense, and other stakeholders ever consulted to this before he made the statement?
Secretary of Defense is aware of the matter.
Okay, thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Malacanang Press Corps. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Back to our main studio sa Radyo ng Bayan at PTV Channel 4.